Hey, what's going on? Welcome into Los Angeles, California. I'm Bill Reiter. This is Reiter's Block. Great show planned for you. DK Metcalf, the wide receiver out of Ole Miss, is going to be on the show. Almost certainly a first-round pick in a few days in the NFL draft. A lot of gambling NBA talk, and we'll give some love to the Milwaukee Bucks, which they earned last night. All of that starts right now. All right, pretty big Tuesday night in the NBA, so we're going to do a Bills Big Bet of the Day extravaganza. There you see it. My record, still barely over 500, 8-6. I took the loss last night because I made an amateur move. I should know better. Never bet on James Harden in the postseason. Just don't do it, Reiter. Bad idea. So we're going to start with the game that I'm the least sure of. Spurs at Nuggets. Nuggets back at home. Series knotted up, 2-2. Nuggets minus 5.5. I'm not going to lie. I hate this game a lot. But just on principle, I'm betting all 4 games tonight with my own money. I think Denver wins back at home. I think they've shaken off some of those nerves we saw when they were at home at the beginning of the series, at least in the regular season. Denver, a great home court team. The Spurs, a really bad road team, and the reverse is true as well, but the game's in Denver. In both of the Nuggets wins, they've covered. They've won by 9 and 14 in each of those victories. I hate the game, so it's a very reluctant, maybe a little bit smaller amount, Nuggets minus 5.5, and it's the only series that's all knotted up, so both teams obviously going to be bringing their all. It's been a head-scratcher of a series, but I like Denver to win. And if they can be the team that they were in the regular season, if they can get past the advantage the Spurs certainly have in terms of experience, Popovich's experience in the postseason, they're a markedly better basketball team. I'm trying to talk myself out of it, but give me Nuggets minus 5.5. All right, let's go on to the closeout games. Magic at Raptors, really interesting game. The Magic played the Raptors close twice in this series. You know, they won one of those games. Toronto, and haven't done this as a guy that's on the road, Toronto, trust me, does not want to fly back to Orlando for another game in a series they're sure they're going to win. They don't want to make the trip. They don't want the wear and tear. They're going to be even more focused. Don't let people tell you the cliche, we're one game at a time and we know what it's about. Those things ebb and flow. The Raptors do not want to get on a plane and head back to Orlando, but Cliff teams are not likely to give up the ghost easily. I'm leaning toward Raptors winning, Magic covering. 12's a big number. I want Aaron Gordon, though, to kind of talk me into this. He claims the Magic going to play their best with their back against the wall.
Well, I mean, we've always been good playing with our backs against the wall all year long. And so, the message is to go out there, get a win, and then come back and bring it back to our home floor. You know, if we can accomplish that, then I feel like it's anybody's series as long as we get back to our home floor and can play another game here.
All right, you know what? A little more facts. I'm kind of sold. Magic are also 5-0 against the spread, following against the spread losses in their last 5 games. And by the way, the under has hit in all 4 games of this series and has hit in the past 8 Toronto games. Cliff teams have great defenses. Toronto is a great defense. I like to bet the hard ways and craps. I'm a parlay guy. I know it's a money loser. It just makes me feel alive. So if you're feeling ambitious, Magic plus the 12 and the under. I'm gonna parlay it. I'll say this. I think Toronto wins. I do. I think they advance. But I think the Magic are determined, and they play against a Toronto team they matched up pretty well against in the regular season. This one I would say a pretty high level of confidence. Next up is Nets at Sixers. This is an interesting one. Since winning the opener, the Nets have lost by 22, by 16, and by 4. They played one game close. Sean Marks, and usually a GM doing what he does doesn't bother me that much. Sean Marks, who's the general manager in Brooklyn, walking into the officials' locker room. That is sacrosanct. You don't do it. At some NBA arenas around the country, there's a security guard or at least a personnel person who keeps you out. To me, that's a level of panic that goes beyond the Brooklyn Nets being in this series. And when the top starts freaking out and acting in ways that are totally untoward and inappropriate, I think it impacts a team. But you know what? And Joel Embiid. All right, Embiid's my guy. He's one of my favorite players in the NBA. Let's see what Embiid has to say.
Feels great to be up 3-1, so we definitely don't want to be in a situation like the Warriors 2 years ago.
Joel.
I was kidding, man.
I mean, Embiid, yeah, Jimmy Butler's having none of that. You know what? I like the Sixers. Very high level of confidence. I think the Sixers' peak performances in this round, I don't think they're up to the challenge when they start facing real teams. 8.5 is a pretty big number, but Philly's back at home. They close out the series. They obviously win the game, and they cover the 8.5. And then finally, OKC at Portland. I love this game. Russell Westbrook. It's what I should have done with Harden. Bet against him in the postseason. Oklahoma City is 4-11. I was going to give you these stats. In the playoffs, since KD took his talents to the West Coast, out here on the West Coast, up in the Bay, Durant is shooting under 39% from the field over that stretch in the playoffs minus KD. He's shooting worse, 36.3% in this series. I don't like the 4. I wish it was 3. But Damian Lillard's a baller. America's starting to see it. You can hear here he's sounding pretty confident.
You know, you don't just become the 3rd seed, luckily, especially 2 times in a row. You know, last year our performance wasn't great in the playoffs. We accept the responsibility for, you know, our past 2 playoff performances, and we moved on. And I think that's one of the biggest and one of the best things that we did for ourselves was not hold on to it. We moved on, and, you know, we having a better run now. We just got to finish it.
Lillard is the best player on the floor in this series every single night. Forget can be. He is, especially whatever's going on with Paul George's shoulder and or the way he just doesn't perform post-All-Star break and certainly in the postseason. Portland goes home. Moda Center's a really underappreciated place to play in terms of the difficulty of being a road team. I have no doubt Portland wins the game. I think they cover the 4. I'm going to say highest, I'm highest level of confidence. This feels to me like a 3-1, 4-0 kind of day. Here are my picks. You can see them here. I feel very, very good about where we're at. Feels like we're going to get to maybe 12 and 6, 11 and 7. And if the wheels come off, I'll keep doing this, and you can just fade me in the days ahead. But I'm going to reclaim my mojo. I've had some bad beats over these NBA playoffs. Bills' big bets of the day. Feeling good about them. Let's turn to some NFL draft talk, right? NFL draft. Couple days away, and out of Ole Miss, DK Metcalf, really, really impressive wide receiver. The dude is big, the dude is physical, he's incredibly fast, and he was gracious enough to make some time for us earlier in the day. We'll play you that interview here on Writer's Block from Los Angeles when we come back to CBS Sports HQ, your home for streaming sports, in just a minute. All right, welcome back into the show. Earlier today, just a few hours ago, had the chance to catch up with Ole Miss wide receiver DK Metcalf. Some mock drafts have him going as high as 5. Certainly going to be a first-round pick. Really talented dude. Enjoyed the conversation. Think you will too. DK, I know you're busy. It's kind of a big week in your life. Thanks for being here.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all for having me.
Appreciate you. Appreciate our friends at Old Spice. So, how you feeling? You know, couple days away. Where's your head at right now?
I mean, it's everywhere, but I'm trying to stay calm and just enjoy this time.
You know, I think a lot of casual fans maybe don't realize for guys like you, you're a very, very highly projected draft pick. For all the guys who are going to be drafted, it is a long process. You're doing media interviews like this one. There's the combine. There's interviews. There's pro days. There's meeting with individual teams. And then there's the wait for Thursday and for some guys beyond Thursday of this entire month, many months long process. What's been the most nerve-wracking part of it for you?
I would probably say just being out away from my family training. You know, I kind of got a little homesick while I was out there, but I knew while I was out there just to train so I can perform to the best of my abilities. But when I got back home, just to see my family, everything was great, and I'm just enjoying the team visits and then the process and then just the waiting process.
You were born, you were raised, you went to high school, and you played football in one of the most beautiful cities in the country. And for people who have not been to Oxford, Mississippi, that they're missing out. In the next stage of your life, the next adventure, whether it's Buffalo or wherever it is, you're going to be somewhere around the country. How do you feel about the fact that pretty soon you're going to be calling some new and big city home?
I mean, it's going to be new to me since I've never been out of Oxford before. But I'm ready for it, and I'm just ready to get back to playing football.
You're a very fast, you're a very big, you're a very physical receiver. At what point in your life as a football player did you start to realize just physically you had this advantage at this position?
Probably when people started telling me, like my junior year in high school, I didn't think I was that big, but lining up against my opponents, and then just my teammates telling me, "Dude, you're big." So just hearing them say that, it was really a good feeling, I guess. Just knowing that I probably had the opportunity to play at the next level in college and then take my talents to the NFL one day.
You're one of two receivers this century who at the combine weighed in at 225 or more and clocked a 40 time of 4.35 or faster. The other, Calvin Johnson, going to be in the Hall of Fame at some point. Though your three cone and your short shuttle times on the other end of the spectrum, when you talk to GMs and you talk to football executives, how much are they asking about some of the combine times that weren't quite as eye-popping?
I really haven't gotten that question a ton because they know it was a long day for me, and then I was ready to get home to my family. So I improved those times in my pro day, and then they know I can run routes, so I'm not worried about my three cone and short shuttle.
Most guys, most GMs you talk to, not all, but most will say that the real measurement comes in the tape and what guys have done on the field. And obviously, you and all your colleagues who are trying to make it to the NFL are going to go through all the interviews, all the combines, all of those things. But just your perspective, what do you think the balance should be in terms of evaluating guys for what they did over the course of their football career in college versus one day or a couple days in Indianapolis?
I really can't say. Because when I stepped on the field in college, I did what I was supposed to do when I was playing. And then at the combine, I also did what I was supposed to do. So I can't really be a GM and tell them how to evaluate players, but I know in my mind I did what I was supposed to do.
Odell Beckham Jr., Jarvis Landry, teammates together in college. Now they're teammates together at the pro level. Have you and A.J. Brown talked at all about what that might look like if it ever came to fruition someday?
Yes, sir. We've thought about it. We've talked about it a little bit, but we can't leave out our trio and lot. So if we all could just link up one day back on the same team, it would be great. And that receiving core is going to be one of the best.
What when you look at the NFL, whether it's guys playing now or in the past, are there any receivers you either try to emulate or guys you've just watched and there's things about their game that you've studied and tried to add to your own arsenal?
I watch a lot of Julio, Calvin, and Randy Moss. Those are three of the main players that I watch a lot.
A lot of the mock drafts that are out there have you going very, very high, right? 4, 5, very high in the first round. How much do you let yourself, whether it's media drafts or talking to people through your agent, how much do you let yourself really start to think about where you might go and what that fit might be like before you actually hear your name called?
I really can't think about that right now. I'm just taking it all in and just enjoying the process because, anything can happen Thursday or Friday. Just like I said, I'm just taking it all in and just enjoying this process with my family.
Talked to a former GM yesterday, and he had an interesting point about putting a draft board together, not just receiver by receiver, for example, but football player by football player, doing their boards horizontally and vertically. When you're meeting with GMs, when you're meeting with executives, what's the pitch where you say, look, I want to be part of your football team. I'm a winner. I can make a difference. How are you selling yourself when you get the opportunity with various teams?
Like I said, I feel like I'm a complete receiver who can catch the ball, run routes, and then block, and I want to win. So, you can go check my college film. I'm a team player first. I played on special teams, and then I just want to win.
You're joining us thanks to our friends at Old Spice and the all-new Fresher collection featuring new body washes with real benefits forged by real ingredients like moisturization and exfoliation, because Old Spice knows that men have skin too. I'm actually wearing Old Spice. That's true. I'm wearing it right now. So tell me if you can. I know you got a lot going on. You're about to be an NFL star, but what are you doing with Old Spice right now?
Just reiterating what you said with their new Fresher collection, moisturized with shea butter and relax with lavender. You can find those two ingredients at Walmart, and I'm just using them and preparing for the draft.
Is there anybody in particular, just because of their excellence at stopping receivers from doing what they do, that you're looking forward to going up against when you get to the NFL level?
Every team that's on our schedule next year.
All right, last question for you, DK, before we let you go. Obviously, at this point, you know, I know, the world knows you're going to be in the National Football League. You're going to be drafted pretty high on Thursday, and you're going to have a real opportunity to have a great career. Is there a turning point where you can look back in the moment before and after you realize this was going to happen? Maybe the time where you thought to yourself, wow, I might actually make a career out of this.
Well, my dad said he saw it a while ago, but I really couldn't see it until I persevered after I broke my foot my freshman year. And then I persevered through that, and then the next year I played a whole season, and the game just started to become easier to me as the season went on, and AJ just started putting the work in more and more and more, and just said that we're going to get out of here next year.
DK Metcalf, really appreciate the time. Congrats all your success at Ole Miss and all your success going forward. I know that you're not going to still be there on the board when the time comes. Let me just throw in, as a Bears fan, Chicago's a beautiful place to live. That's all I'm going to say. I appreciate you. I appreciate Old Spice. And congratulations and good luck going forward.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
That is a very big, very athletic, very, very fast dude. I know he's not going to go to the Bears, but I'm a Bears fan. A guy can hope. Speaking of hope, Milwaukee fans have been hoping for a long time that they would see their Bucks do something that hasn't happened in a generation. We saw it last night, and we're going to give them a little bit of the shine they deserve, going inside the numbers on maybe, I know the Warriors are out there, but maybe the NBA's best team when we come back to Reiter's Block in just a minute. All right, welcome back into Los Angeles, California, and Reiter's Block here on CBS Sports HQ. In Milwaukee, I got family there. There is one mantra that is rising above all conversation right now in that fine Wisconsin city: fear the deer. And those fans are not wrong. The Milwaukee Bucks looked like the team they were supposed to look like, statistically at least, the best team in the NBA this year. We're going to go inside the numbers on the Bucks right now, and their guy, Giannis Antetokounmpo. And we start with the number 18. It has been 18 years since the last time the Milwaukee Bucks won a playoff series. That's amazing. They had previously lost 8 straight first-round playoff series. Congratulations, Milwaukee. How about the number 20? Giannis attempted 20 free throws in Monday's win, more than the entire Pistons team. And a Milwaukee franchise playoff record. That is a tough team to beat in any situation, certainly when Giannis is getting to the free throw rim. How about 41? The Greek Freak dropped a playoff career-high 41 points in that game for closeout domination. But a deeper dive into the numbers, which we do here on the show, offers a pretty fascinating nugget. When Giannis has scored 40 points or more this season, the Bucks are just 3-3. How about 95? The Bucks had a point differential of plus 95 in this short 4-game series. That's the second highest point differential in a series sweep in the history of the NBA. They also covered the spread, and I did bet on them, all 4 games. Fear the deer is right, Vegas. And finally, 122, the Bucks averaged 122 points per game in their 4-game sweep of Detroit, consequently causing the over to cash in all but 1 game in the series. We're a little ways from this, but the Bucks have been over so much of late. The Raptors, as we mentioned, have been under, if in fact both of those teams advance, and that's who I'd certainly pick if I was handicapping it. That'll be an interesting conference finals just in terms of the over and the under. I love Milwaukee. I love what they've done, and the storyline should be honest. He's a star. He should be the MVP. Our own Reed Forgrave here at CBS Sports, who has an actual vote, voted for Giannis over Harden, and I get it's a close call. But there's more to this team than just their superstar. Mike Budenholzer, former coach of the year in Atlanta, rose to the head of basketball operations. It wasn't the right fit, but the guy can straight out coach. He's brought the best in that entire team. The front office has done a tremendous job supplementing, bringing guys in around Giannis, finding guys at value. They have the best defense in the NBA over the course of the regular season. They had the 4th best offensive rating. If you're in the top 5 of both, historically, at least in this century, it almost always, except for 2 times, adds up to a finals appearance and often a finals championship. And Giannis talked about this, about how much this team has grown, how far, really, they've come and changed.
I remember our first playoff series. We lost from Chicago. The last game, Game 6, they beat us by 50. It was something insane. But where we were and where we are right now, it's been an unbelievable journey, and hopefully we can get better each day and achieve our goals that we've set all season.
I think we know who the Raptors are when they close out that series. I think we know who the Sixers are. To me, the Celtics have the widest spectrum they can operate on in this postseason. They were awesome. Both these teams are awesome. You can see it here in their first round matchups, and they're supposed to be. But Milwaukee's been consistent the entire year. What you see there against Detroit reflects a dominating basketball team that's been on the same page, that's been in sync, that has liked playing together for the entire season. What you saw there from the Celtics, that hasn't necessarily been the case over the course of a long season. And we've talked about this a lot here on the show because it's true, and people in the NBA will tell you this. Teams that have real, not small, but real locker room issues, real chemistry issues, superstars who don't get along, or a superstar, in this case Kyrie Irving, who has not at times gotten along with a core group of guys who had a lot of success without him in the postseason last year. Those problems, if they're going to be real hurdles, only come to fruition when you have a real challenger in front of you. The Bucks are going to be a real challenger. So I know that Boston's good enough, beyond a doubt, to beat Milwaukee in this series in terms of talent. Milwaukee is not some pushover team like the Pacers, no offense, or the Pistons. They're going to bring everything that they have, and I don't think that Kyrie Irving and his vibe with that team and talking to people around the NBA, this their view of whether Kyrie really has meshed with these guys over the last month and certainly in the series, is going to be able to win out against a Milwaukee team that loves playing together, that buys into their superstar, different than Boston, because Kyrie's a superstar, that buys into their head coach. We've seen Kyrie take some shots at Brad Stevens. Budenholzer is beloved, and it's his first year in Milwaukee. I love the Bucks in this series. I went Milwaukee in 5. And it could go deeper because the Celtics are a really good team. And if they find the best version of themselves, we know they can make a run. They did last year without Gordon Hayward, who was injured, without Kyrie Irving, who was injured. But I still like Milwaukee in this series because who we are as a teammate in a locker room, it matters in the NBA. It's going to be a hell of a basketball series. All the second-round series are going to be really, really good. But give me Milwaukee. We'll dive into that in some more depth, certainly, in the days ahead. By the way, I really appreciate DK Metcalf being on the show. Other great guests for you over the next few days here on Reiter's Block. We're going to have Nick Bosa, who could be the top pick in the draft this year. We're going to have Josh Allen on the show. We're going to visit with Marquise Brown, Antonio Brown's cousin, really nice wide receiver out of Oklahoma, and some other big names. We'll have those for you on Reiter's Block, 5 years from 2 Pacific, same time you're watching right now. Thank you for being here. We'll see you tomorrow. The guys in Florida are taking over, and Sportsline's coming up in about 30 minutes.